Stewing and steaming.
Wow! All these people?
Yep, and I am the boss. Come, that is my head cook.
Hey, boss.
Hey, Eric. This is Jim. I am showing him around. What are you preparing?
Fish stew.
All right. See you later then. Come, Jim. These days, I can't stand the heat in here.
So, where are we going? I thought you were going to show me how stews are made.
I just did. Let's go to the table at the far corner and chat over nice tea. It's my most favorite spot in this restaurant.
I say, it gives the best view of your customers and the street. So, if I wanted to stew fish at home when mom is not around, can you show me how to do it right?
And if I don't? Just messing with you. All right. Stewing is cooking food in a measured amount of liquid, unlike boiling, where measuring may not be necessary. Food is allowed to simmer in a covered pot. Stewing is best way of cooking beef, fish, chicken, and vegetables.
And what makes it better than boiling?
Stewing gives the food adequate time to soften and retain as much nutrients and taste as sweet as possible when you do it right.
You mean when you follow the rules to the letter?
Use gentle heat during cooking to avoid boiling the food, hardening the proteins, or destroying the shape of the food and the flavor. Perform browning to the stewed beef before adding water to retain the juices which have nutrients. The meat must be cut into equal pieces to ensure they cook uniformly. And as I said earlier, measure the amount of water to avoid producing a watery stew.
And seasoning should follow to the stewed food to make it taste delicious. Now I understand why I would prefer it.
Which is?
Nutrients and flavors are retained.
Correct. Plus, it can be done either on a stove or in an oven, unlike boiling, which is possible only on a stove. It requires little attention, thus less laborious than other cooking methods. And finally, it is best suited for cooking tough meat.
Any limiting factors?
A couple. It takes time for food to get cooked, thus can't be used if you are too hungry. Plus, it uses a lot of fuel, which leads me to another cooking method which consumes a lot of time and fuel.
Steaming?
Yep. More tea?
No, thank you.
All right. In steaming, food gets cooked by the steam from the boiling water. The steam does not come into direct contact with the food. Instead, the steam hits the container, which in turn cooks the food.
I doubt my mother is aware of this. Which foods can we cook in this manner?
Small fish and puddings. Pudding is a cooked sweet meal or a dessert that is usually served after the main course of a meal. For example, fruit dessert consisting of pawpaw, banana, passion, and lemon juice. Isn't that sweet?
I am actually salivating. I should have a taste of that before I leave this place.
That can be arranged. Anyway, steaming can be done in various ways, including plate, bowl, colander, as well as using a steamer.
Please elaborate.
Let us start with the plate method. Here, the food is put on a plate, covered, then placed over a boiling cooking pan. Another type of food can be cooked at the same time, say root tubers. This saves a lot of time and energy. Bowl steaming involves the use of a bowl instead of a plate. Otherwise, the procedure and benefits are the same as in the plate steaming.
That is to say, what makes the difference is the utensils used for steaming.
More or less. Colander method involves the use of a colander, which I am guessing you know, to hold the food while cooking. The colander is placed in a saucepan with boiling water. Just ensure that the colander fits well onto the saucepan so that its base does not come into direct contact with the boiling water.
And if it does?
Then it is no longer steaming. Remember, the food should get cooked by the steam and not the boiling water. Moving on, a food steamer is a modern cooking equipment with several compartments for various foods. See the picture for clarity.
Oh, I have never seen or heard of this before. It must be quite expensive, I guess.
Which is why it is commonplace in large cookery, like in this restaurant. However, regardless of which steaming method you go for, there are general rules that should be followed.
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
I know. Since we are using steam to cook, we must ensure it is constantly produced. The source of the steam must therefore not be allowed to dry out.
Makes sense?
How do you do this? By adding boiling water into the saucepan before it is depleted to maintain the temperature and keep the food cooking accordingly.
Wow. And when opening the lid, direct the steam away from you to avoid scalds. I'm not sure if this is a rule or a precaution.
It's both. Also, the boiling pan must have a tight-fitting lid to prevent steam from escaping, which would increase amount of fuel used. And finally, the steamed food must be well covered to avoid direct contact with steam or water. Since we are talking about food, I feel really hungry already.
Me too. Besides, with the sweet aroma coming from that direction, I can't help but imagine what's cooking in your kitchen. But before we have a bite, does steaming have any pros and cons?
Oh, I am so hungry I almost forgot. Steamed food is light and easy to digest. The food's flavor and nutrients are not lost. And as I said, you can cook more than one food at a time.
But I guess it requires much attention then.
Right. Plus, you can get scalded if not careful, and you can't cook tough foods.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Since you seem to like fish, why don't you have a taste of our delicious deep fried fish for lunch? For free, of course.
You are sweet, Mrs. Tanga. Thank you.
I am a mother, you know. Welcome anyway. I'll serve you myself.
Sawa sawa.